This is the legendary Humble and Fred Show, Canada's national morning show.
We are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
The following episode of Humble and Fred Radio is brought to you by FYI Music News, The Retirement Sherpa, Gig Sky, The Chambers Plan, Strain Print, Freedom Construction, Ringside MD, Clear Air Solutions, and our newest sponsor, CDN Technologies. If you'd like to talk to Humble and Fred, call 1-833-437-8465. That's 1-833-HF-STINK. And now from the worldwide headquarters of the Humble and Fred Show, here are Humble and Fred.
And welcome, everybody, one and all. It's another Humble and Fred show where we're trying to, make sense of it all. That's what we do. 1-833, and then some other numbers. 437-8465. Do you think we could get, if you were given our phone number in a multiple choice scenario, would you be able to get it?
If we said HF stink?
No, like, could you come up with 1-833-437-8465?
Yes. Yeah, probably not. Okay. Hello.
We're not the only ones that have technical difficulties.
Pause in the action.
Okay, we're going to just pause here for a second. Just jiggle that around.
For some reason,
I'm listening to, yesterday I was listening to Stern in L.A. He's doing a show from the Sirius studios in L.A. this week. And,
right.
They had a couple of technical difficulties.
These things happen. Did we switch these mics yesterday and it didn't make a difference?
It's this cord or it's the pod or it's... This is another... We need a great Jim Carr intervention.
We need an on-site engineer. An engineer that doesn't drive a train.
Well, anyway... No, it's such a dad joke. I love that.
No, Keats always used to say that.
Oh, yeah, did he?
Yeah, back in the day. I'm an engineer, but I don't drive a train.
Oh, man. That's great.
That's back in the 80s.
Oh, that's great radio. Great 80s radio. Welcome to our show, the Humble and Fred program. Today, more details will be forthcoming of our giant trip to Montreal with the Leafs. They're going to go on the road, and we're going with them. We're going to send you. We've got some more entries. The deadline only a couple of weeks away. October 21st, we'll make the draw.
We've had a ton of entries. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we'll read some of the contest entries. The contract. We'll read some of the contracts.
Yeah, we will. Very creative. Some sad, some happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's got a story.
Yeah.
Okay? Isn't it amazing, too, the Maple Leafs, how they can generate this content for us? And you want to go see the Leafs in Montreal? Sign me up. How do I do it? I want.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter, if the team's doing well or not. It's just the Leafs, the cachet around the team. Who were we talking to yesterday? Or was I talking to somebody where I said the Leafs have no chance to make the playoffs, based on your assessment? They got quite mad at me. I was kind of mostly joking. I think I was playing golf or something. I do that.
Yeah. See, yeah. I didn't say they have no chance. I said I could see them missing the playoffs this year because other teams have got better in the division. And
because I made a $20 bet with my friend Russ Glowinski.
I know. Why would I say they have no chance?
Fred said... I don't know.
No chance.
So, after we got off the phone with you yesterday,
right,
we were talking about. I'm just trying to remember the conversation. And I said, "Oh, by the way, something about the Leafs," and I said they have no chance to make the playoffs.
No chance.
And he said, "Well, what?" I said, "No chance."
No.
So we have a $20 bet. Thanks to you.
I'll cover half. I'll take my responsibility. Because I didn't say no chance. I would never say no chance. That's ridiculous.
All right. Well,
I said, play back the tape from last week or whatever.
I apologize.
I said I could really see them missing the playoffs.
Okay, well, that sounded like no chance to me, but it's all interpretation.
And my reasons were the coach, they have no jam, And the goaltender isn't what everybody thinks he is, and that was on display the other night against St. Louis. When you really need a big save in a game against the Stanley Cup champs, and it's really tight. He's not there. Sorry, that's my perspective.
We don't have to apologize to me, but
I'm going to give you $10.
When I have to pay $20 to Russ Glow,
Yeah,
he's such a great guy. I got to tell you, we have our final men's night day today. It's a big deal. Like I'm looking forward to it. Like it's the last time we will all. It's sort of the last round of significance. But I'm not looking forward to it the way that Russ is. He's like one of these guys. He's one of the guys I went to Nova Scotia with this summer. Big personality, loves food, loves drink, big, good guy. Real and big, huge man, like 6'2", 6'3", worked
huge man, but not a fat guy.
strong.
Right.
Hits it a long way.
Right.
Very, he's a very.
You didn't answer the question, Mr. Trudeau. Is he a fat guy?
Strong man, tall,
Okay.
thick.
Wide.
All right.
Yeah, wide. No, he's not fat. If you saw Russ, you would not say he's fat.
All right,
You would
all
say
right.
there's a big man, strong.
Okay.
But he did. He's worked. Not construction. What am I saying? What Sean does? He does
Landscaping, maintenance,
No.
that sort of thing?
contracting. Thank you.
Oh.
Like he's one of those guys. Contractor all his life, thick,
Right.
strong, and. But I just want to say, yesterday when we left, he's so excited about this day. He said this to me. He goes, "Man, I'm looking forward to tomorrow so much," and he gave me all the reasons. He said, "I don't know if I'll be able to sleep tonight." And I said to him, "I'm looking forward to it, but it's not like Christmas."
Right.
And then I get a note from my other buddy, Southcott, and he's like, okay, here's what we're going to do. You're going to bring a change of clothing. I'm like, I had no idea this was such a significant day. But when a grown man, Russ is 62 years old, he goes, "I'm looking forward to it so much, I don't know if I'll be able to sleep." I thought, good for you, thick man. Big Russ, man. He goes.
Over the years, we've made this point many times. You and I have been afforded the opportunity to do so many great things for nothing. I might add, over the years. Seriously. A lot of things we take for granted as just another event or just another thing. It means a lot to people. It really does. Because they don't get to do the things we do, or we have been able to do over the years. Not so much in recent times, but in the heydays, we'd be asked to do something anybody else would go, "Oh, fuck, that'll be the greatest thing ever." We go, "Really? I gotta."
That's right.
Really?
Really? We got to leave the house?
Yeah. We want you guys to fly out west to Vancouver to see In Excess in an exclusive club. Vancouver.
Oh, yeah,
It's a long weekend. Yeah.
I remember when they said that to us, we're like, "Yeah, but we're not coming home right away. I'm too old to be like flying back in the middle of the night." So they got us a hotel room, and they flied us back later on our own.
Yeah.
Because we demanded it.
We want you to fly to Boston for the 4-game Blue Jays series against the Red Sox. Do I have to fly with the listeners?
That's right.
They ask too many questions.
That's right. I don't want to sit near any listeners.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting you say that because Russ and this other guy we were playing with were talking about Bob Seger coming to town.
Yeah.
Playing, I'm not sure where, not the Dome, maybe the ACC. Well, wherever he's playing. And again, you and I were afforded all these free concerts. Our whole, hey, you want to go see the Stones? You want to see the Hip? And a lot of times we're like, no, it's too late, and I don't want to leave the house. But these guys were like, oh, man, Bob Seger. I'll go see Bob Seger. And it's great. But, like, for the motivation for me to get out of here and then go into there and sit in a crowd. Like I did this with Rachel a few weeks ago. We saw that Game of Thrones thing at the Molson Amphitheater. What do they call it now?
What?
The Budweiser stage?
Right.
Yeah, remember we went out and it was Game of Thrones with the Toronto Symphony Orchestra.
Right.
But even that, it was convenient. And then when halftime came or intermission came, we bailed. Like we were in a cab by 10 o'clock on our way back to Cozy Times.
Yeah. Well, I've told you, too. When I used to go on those trips in the 80s and 90s for Blue Jays baseball, they would fly us New York, Boston, Cleveland for Blue Jays series. And part of the perk for me was I could take a friend.
Oh.
And it's funny, my buddy Doug, my Fred Ball, other guys that I've taken over the years, they remember minute details of those trips. and they start regurgitating, and I have no idea what they're talking about. Remember that? And then you did, and then you walked up the thing, and that guy threw that hot dog. Remember? And it's like, oh, okay, I believe you, because it's significant for they didn't get to do that stuff.
They didn't do it all the time.
Yeah,
I remember one detail of a Blue Jay listener trip. It could have been the Blue Jays. It could have been the NHL All-Star Game in Tampa, or any of those trips we got to go on. But I remember you and I and Captain Phil,
right,
who was our marketing guy. Maybe you didn't come with us, but a group of us went to this sketchy strip club.
Wasn't that where I danced on the?
No, that was
that was a different one.
No, that was Captain Phil's stag.
Oh, that was here in Toronto.
That was here in Toronto.
All right,
where you got up on stage with the strippers. You can't do that anymore. But in the old days.
Oh right.
No, we went to this.
I went because we got limoed around Clearwater. Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think the name of the place was Mon's. It's a famous Florida strip club, but it's crappy. In those days, they didn't take off
everything.
They still don't, I don't think. In the state of Florida, they can't take their bottoms off. Yeah. And what were we doing? All sitting there complaining? In Toronto, they can take their pants off. Take your pants off.
And I just remembered it's not a very big... Yeah, we were there. Get those pants off.
What's the matter with you?
These bottoms are bull. I need to see. No, but it was a small club. It wasn't a very big...
I remember
You remember that? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, those are the weird details I remember.
Wasn't Philip really hammered that night, too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he could get into it. He'd get all red-faced smoking. He used to smoke Demoriers, and I used to think the color of the package was the same color as his face.
Oh.
Because you get all,
He's going to hear this, too. He listens all the time.
Does he?
Oh, yeah. He sent me a note the other day.
He's a good boy. Captain Phil Evans. Anyway, a lot of people, of course, anticipating the first part of this program each and every day now because of Dan Duran's weather. That's coming up in a second. Also today, I just forgot to tell you this story for a couple of days. Maybe after Dan Duran, if we have time, I'll tell you about being on the subway on Saturday in New York with GFR and Charlie. Just weird. I'm not the only time I'm on the subway is when I'm in New York City.
In the UK, they call it the tube, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Those subways, they're not like our subway cars. Ours are big and tall and boxy.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally a tube. It's weird the way, I got a little claustrophobic. And they have subways under subways, right?
Yes.
Ours is so Mickey Mouse compared to theirs. You get down steep.
Like 3 or 4 times.
But it's same in New York. You're going down.
Right.
Depending on the line you're on, you're many feet down below the surface.
But are the cars literally tubes?
No, they're cars.
And the thing is, they're round, so it's like they're tight.
And you're as tall as the car, right?
And everybody's crammed in there.
But I certainly have no idea how they do that. What machines they used and how do they keep the water out while they're digging it, and then how do they make the cement?
Well,
how do they get the cars down there?
Well, once you're under the seabed, so to speak, or water bed,
the riverbed,
it's ground.
It's boring.
Yeah.
I know, but there's water all around, and you got to be in there, and they got to make a tunnel.
Yeah, they have a way. I guess
I know
they do it very slowly.
But I would have no idea.
When I'm in the UK and I'm looking at this network of subways underneath each other and all over the place, I'm thinking, did they have a big argument every time they wanted to build one of these like they do in Toronto? Was there a massive argument and people got pissed off and they decided not to do it, and then eventually they got it done? Because I would love to know the final price tag of that. We scream about $3 or $4 billion for a few miles. What did it cost, and how did they get it done?
They argued so fervently for it. There's 15 travel zones now. In London.
The UK and in New York and in other cities that have subway systems, some people said, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
And there's not going to be a discussion. We're just doing it. The city needs it.
Right.
Whereas here it's like, we know we need to do it, but all we do is discuss it. And then all people do is give you arguments why they don't want it in their neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right.
Yep.
It's too bad we've missed that boat or that train.
You know what? That's that old thing about the best time to build subways would have been 20 years ago. What's the next best time? How about now?
Yep.
All right. Listen, we're already over time from one of our new features where we have a very qualified weather specialist come in every day now. Are you there, Dan Duran?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
All right. Hang on a second. Here we go, Phil.
Big intro.
Dan Duran's weather, weather, Dan Duran. Dan Duran's weather, weather, Dan Duran. Dan Duran's weather, weather, Dan Duran. Dan Duran's weather, weather, Dan Duran.
Well, that was lovely. You put some new harmonies in there.
Oh, yeah, we're doing harmonies. Now we have a group sing every morning. It's fun. I actually look forward to it.
Good. Sort of warm up your musical talents.
Yeah. Hey, and
Yeah.
Dan, you're on quite the run. Thank you for this weather.
It's going to continue into the weekend for most of us in the Ontario region, that's for sure.
Well, yesterday was glorious. Yesterday versus the day before. The day before, we had some of that fall cool, air temperature while it was sunny. But yesterday, it had some warmth to it. Were you outside at all?
Oh, yes. I spent quite a bit of time outside.
Time passages.
And I finished the day off with sitting on an Adirondack chair in the sun having a cracked canoe. It was
Nice.
lovely. The sun beating on me, the afternoon sun at
Yeah.
around 4:30. Wow.
Well, I was still when I called you. I was still on the golf course 3 or 4 in the afternoon. It was still warm, Dan. Like the air temperature felt summery.
I know, it did. It was right into the evening. It was very, very nice. And yeah, we got up to like about 18 degrees yesterday.
So, Dan, your father was a minister, right?
Yes,
Taught me how to make
Reverend.
martinis.
that's true, yes.
He did. Reverend Cliff. I remember when he came to visit us once, and we were in our early martini stage. He says, "Fellas, let me show you how this is done." Now, the reason I ask you about your father, because if he were alive still, I would ask him this question: why does God hate Alberta? Why? Because while we're here talking about how great it is, a bunch of people yesterday were also talking about how shite it is in Alberta. Now,
I've got to call my brother Evan, talk to him for a little while about the weather, just to find out how he's feeling about all that weather out there.
It's gross
And
out there.
It's gross, and it's moving. It's moving east. We're going to get a little bit of that on Saturday. With this, there's a cold front moving through, and right now it's kind of over. It's just a little bit east of the Manitoba border, and everything west of that is cold and chilly. And actually, there's special weather statements on in Manitoba right now, and for the weekend, for the next, well, not for the weekend, but for the next couple of days, they're going to get like 20 to 30 centimeters of snow.
But when you say we're getting a bit of that, not snow and stuff. No,
we're going to get a little bit of rain on Saturday, like 5 millimeters.
Right now in Calgary, it's -6.
No, I'm looking at it. Yeah. See those pictures? High impact storm threatens Thanksgiving with 40 centimeters of snow, blizzard conditions. And I'm like, my biggest decision today is should I wear shorts for Final Men's Day?
No, I get it.
As it gets up to 17 or 18 degrees today.
No, I'm
another day just like yesterday.
I'm on my northern track tomorrow, Catchawano, at 11:30 actually, and I was thinking the same thing. Should I be wearing shorts or pants tomorrow? And to have that choice is glorious. Mm-hmm. So to be even considering that, because it's going to be gorgeous tomorrow too.
You say it's going to cool down, but are we going to have this weather through Friday, or is it going away sooner?
No, it's going away on Saturday.
All right, Dan.
So on Saturday it'll be like 14. Sunday it'll be about 10 degrees. We're talking about southern Ontario.
When's the first day we're going to get significant snowfall, Dan? Because I want to put Delisa's snow tires on. So what day is the...
I can't tell you that.
Why? You're a weather specialist.
You're a weather specialist. Look at your weather models. Did you not get to bring your weather models with you after you left the television station? As he's leaving the building, he's like, "Wait a second, Dad.
Yeah.
Give us our weather models back."
Yeah, his weather models are in bed with him right now.
Cumulus.
Dan, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but in Japan, there's a super typhoon named Hagibis. What? That's what it's called.
Haggis?
Hagibis. It says super typhoon Hagibis remains a dangerous storm as it targets Japan.
They're that far down the H list.
Yeah,
They have to come up with that.
Hagibis.
Hagibis.
Funny.
Hagibis?
They'd go Hagibis before Howard. Seriously.
Oh, Howard was used years ago, I'm sure.
Never. Has there ever
Hurricane Howard?
Hurricane Howard? Has there ever been a Hurricane Fred?
I think of Frederick.
Yeah.
And And what about Peterborough, where you live? Is it already winter, or is it similar to where we are?
Similar, actually very similar. The only thing is there's a frost advisory in effect for kind of a band from Grey Bruce, kind of all the way along Lake Ontario through to Quebec, Ottawa, Cornwall, all that area there.
Yeah.
But that'll come off. It'll be a little bit warmer tonight and the next couple of nights. But it's really close to freezing overnight. Normally, seasonally, we should be around 7 degrees, so it's a little bit cooler than it should be. But then again, we got clear skies, and we got temperatures that are a little bit above seasonal right now until the weekend anyway.
You know, it hurt me so much on the weekend. I closed down the Tin Palace, and the beautiful flowers I had in front, my cascading begonias, and I had to sort of rip them out. It was awful because they looked so good and healthy and in their prime. But I guess the frost was going to get them anyway.
Yeah,
but it really hurt, Howard. It hurt to pull those out.
Oh, did it?
In that
well, maybe you
state,
should get some counseling. Talk it over with somebody. Why don't you find that garden guy, Mark? What's his face? Talk it over with him.
Cullen, Mark Cullen.
That's right.
I'll tell you one thing. Those balconies.
I'm sure there's a helpline.
Those balconies of yours up there.
My flowers, yeah.
Yeah. Next spring, I'm going to do you a couple of pots for up there.
Nice.
I really am.
Well, I like my flowers up there. I've been taking care of them.
No, good. And I'll give you a couple of. I'm going to put a couple of pots together for you, and as long as you water them from time to time, they'll be good.
And then will I have the same experience at the end of the summer where I'll be hurt when I have to put them away?
No, you'll probably just let them. No, you can let when you're here, you can let the frost get them and then yank them after that. Then it doesn't hurt so bad because they're dead.
That hurt's over.
Because they're dead. I had to do it when they were alive.
Dan Duran, soon it'll be trick-or-treating time, and it's weird in Dan's neighborhood because all the houses are like 3 miles from each other. So it's like the kids get bused. Will there be any children dressed as the Prime Minister for Halloween this year?
You mean in blackface or something?
I don't know, whatever your guy does.
Is that where you're going?
Yeah. Maybe. Are you dressed as a chimney sweep, little Dan? No, I'm the Prime Minister.
That's a big conversation nowadays. Hey, the Prime Minister's coming to our town. Yep. Really? What color will he be?
Why is he yellow? Why is he yellow today? Dan.
Yes.
So yesterday we had a great conversation with Ralph Ben Murgy talking about climate change. I thought you would enjoy that. Go back and listen to it. Some smart
I'll have to do that. Then. I didn't
smart points
I thought you were talking politics with him.
A little bit of everything.
What, climate change isn't political? Come on.
That's true.
So,
it's very political these days.
Sure it is. It's a political football.
And you know something yesterday, Fred, you said something about, trying to point out my lack of environmental ways or, taking the bus instead of the car, that kind of thing. I think in every single person that lives on the planet, there's a little bit of hypocrisy, if you believe.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree. You're right. It was just having some fun with you. That's all, Dan.
Yeah, I know, like you always do.
You're no, probably when it comes to that, you're more conscious of that than the average person. I'll give you that.
And I think we can all do our part.
Sure
do something.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Okay, there you go.
I've stopped defecating on the Queensway.
Well, yeah, but that was more of an amusement as opposed to an environmental issue.
Yeah. Right.
I wish we could get Phil to stop doing it on the Queensway as well, because sometimes we come downstairs after Phil's had one of his episodes.
I'm a cow.
And it's not good.
No.
All right. Listen, Dan Duran Weather is brought to you by Dan Duran. And for all your Dan Duran needs, go to dan@danduran.com. All right. All right, Dan. Listen, man.
See you, Dan.
We're so excited to have you on our program each and every day doing Dan Duran's weather. All right?
I am too. Look forward to tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Take care. Here we go. All right, we'll take a quick break here. Come on back. Retirement Sherpa is going to hang out. We're going to talk money. I'm actually glad and not surprised the Sherpa's here. He wouldn't miss Final Men's Night. Are you as excited as Russ? Could you sleep last night? Can you imagine? It's Humble and Fred Radio. We're live on Funny 820 and at humbleandfredradio.com. Well, then ask that person to leave. Stan! Stan! Here. Okay. Sean. Okay, they're gone. Another dog, too.
Stan, we know. We can hear you, buddy.
This is causing solid delays as well. Now here in the Hamilton area, you're just looking at a lot more volume. These 403 is slow from movement to the junction, but no issues.
I just went with color.
Sherpy, how are you for
Just a
that?
great local employee. Post your job on
flowers on very
Yeah.
I'm Alexis Weiger.
So what?
New York State of Mind.
What flowers did you end up putting up there? I forget. What, you just bought pot?
No, the guys that did the construction bought it for.
Oh, right. Yeah.
A 30-year brand on Funny 820, on Twitch TV, and the most uploaded podcast in Canadian history. We offer a personalized advertising
balcony
model that
this
isn't
time of year.
available anywhere else at a very reasonable cost.
Just be glorious.
If you'd like to be part of a leading-edge program with access to a very engaged...
Sherpa, how are you, man? Welcome back.
I'm great. I'm just a little tired. I woke up at 4:30 and the brain was going. You guys might be used to those early morning wake-up calls. Not me.
Well, the last couple of nights I've taken this fucking Vicks NyQuil or whatever the shit it's called, and I still feel dopey now.
It knocks you out pretty good though, does it?
It does, yeah. But at about 12:30, I was coughing so much I couldn't sleep, so I wasn't gonna take anything, and I took it, and I went right to sleep. But fuck, it takes a while to wear off that shit.
What were you taking, NyQuil?
The Vicks,
Yeah, yeah.
not the sleep thing, the cold stuff, but it says right on it that it can make you very
Mm-hmm.
dopey.
Don't operate heavy machinery.
That's right. Your pal Fred Ball reached out with an email after the Gators game Saturday, which
Oh,
was
did he?
very nice. Yeah. Just checked in, said hi, said he watched it.
Yeah, it looks like you had quite a lot of fun from
Oh, it was amazing.
cool restaurants and beach bars and football games and golfing and
Yeah,
nice
all
life,
right.
you fucker.
I know. And still kept the ship moving in the right direction
Yeah.
there too, right? So
Yeah.
every once in a while a plan comes together. Played the Abbey yesterday. I should take a picture for you. I know you've seen it before, but off the 11th tee to the left-hand side there where the slope is, there's like that old abandoned yurt or whatever.
On the 11th tee?
Yeah.
Because I was just there last week.
Which one
the
has
top
the,
tee?
Which one has the fan?
I'm sorry, not 11.
No, that's the.
I'm sorry, not 11. The 13th tee. The par 5.
Yeah,
course,
okay,
goes
yeah,
across it. So the tee is right on. Thanks, Phil.
The tee?
It's right on the slope there, and at the base of the slope, there's this old wooden ramshackle shack that.
Isn't that
I
funny?
thought
Because I was there again the first time this summer, actually. Last week I played it on Thursday. It's fucking great.
I gotta take a picture for you next time.
Nice.
Yeah, it was in great shape, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That 11th tee is is something else. I don't know how many feet that is down, but
Is that with the fan?
no, there's a fan at the green on
Yeah.
that tee in the back.
Huh.
They have two greens there.
Has that ever been on?
Always.
The fan?
I mean, I've seen it on. Yeah. They just need to because they don't get any
More in
circulation.
the summer, I think,
Yeah.
right when it's hotter.
They need to circulate the air or the green dies. Because it's right where it's settled. There's a couple of them, but that one in particular, the air is so dense. Sherps, we're gonna do a few minutes.
Oh yeah, no.
Is
You'll
it
get
going to
your
be
coffee.
dead? Is it dying? Or is it done? Glen Abbey, where are they with that?
No,
they're not.
A good buddy of mine was captain there for a long time, and they won the last 2 or 3 bouts.
Yeah.
They being Club Link, but it's being appealed again, right?
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, there was some.
It's Club Link that wants to sell?
Well, Club Link owns it.
Yeah, right.
Club Link wants to develop it. So
Right.
there's some signs around the 5th hole, like where the houses are. I saw a sign that said, Glen Abbey, not saved yet, or something to that effect, right? Like I said this to him when it all started. I said, those fucking people around that, that's some big Oakville money. They're not going to let it go. Like, it's not
Can you
fucking,
imagine?
It's not Aurora.
You
This
go
is
from backing on to Glen Abbey, all of a sudden backing on to another house.
subdivision. Yeah,
and
yeah.
you've of course paid a premium to do so, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's-
well, Ray Sahi, who bought Club Link, part of the school of thought was always that it was more of a real estate play than a golf thing play.
Yeah, well, he's just developing some other courses, Canada apparently, and. But yeah, I knew that those Oakville people weren't going down without a fight, because that's 40 big houses and they're not the richest people in Oakville, but I know they know the richest people in Oakville. Here we go. Here we go. All right, boys. Always great to be with you on a Wednesday. We're having a nice run of weather here in the fall. Thanks to a bunch of guys on Twitch. Apparently Hurricane Howard, August 30th, September 5th, 2004.
Recent then.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Howard is still on the rotation of names for Pacific storms. Next up, 2022. Fred is Atlantic in 2021. So there you go. You can watch us on Twitch. You can follow us on Facebook. You can also watch us on Facebook. Our email is humbleandfred@humbleandfredradio.com. That's significant because that's how you enter the Leafs contest. We'll tell you more about that. This program brought to you by CDN Technologies.
Yeah, CDN Technologies, cdntechnologies.com is where to go if you're searching for an IT company because you're dealing with an ongoing IT issue. I mean, a lot of small businesses, a lot of big businesses can relate to this. Well, they can help you. If your network is unbelievably slow, they got the solution for that. If your current IT team is spending 10 hours on a 1-hour problem, well, you could use CDN Technologies because, time is money, obviously. CDN Technologies, for any problem you're having, IT-wise, these are the people to talk to.
I got an email the other day. Good morning. I'm a longtime listener, Humble and Fred Show. This comes from Glenn Jones. You know whose brother? He's Andrew Moore's brother from Service Inspired Restaurants.
Very nice.
Yeah, very cool. He says, I'm heading on a West Coast trip with my family. My wife and son both have iPhone 10s. I have an 8. If we get a SIM card and virtual SIM card for those phones, can the personal hotspot be used so that laptops will have an internet connection? And Glenn writes, and I sent this over to GigSky and Rudra. He says, Rudra says, our support team sent Glenn a response. Phil, I might need your help here. He says the hotspot feature will work with the iPhones that have the eSIM capability. iPhones that use the GigSky SIM card will not be able to use the hotspot feature. That's correct. Does that make sense what I just said?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. The iPhone 8 and iPhone 10 still need the GigSky SIM to be installed, and a data plan must be purchased for each SIM. However, Glenn can get the hotspot from a Humble and Fred page.
That's true. You can always just rely on the Wi-Fi that comes out of your hotspot, and that covers most devices.
Which we've all done, and that allows you or anyone, whether you're Glenn or not, to use that to connect to multiple devices, including laptops. That's how it works. Reaching out, bringing together a community of people, all as one. GigSky.com. Go to humbleandfredradio.com and click it on. Click on. Do some clicking. Come on. All right. So I'm on the subway. Saturday afternoon. Where are you going? No, where are you going? Where's anyone going?
That's great. You launch into a story and half the room evacuates.
Well, no, I thought because only because I can hear his microphone
right.
Around. I'll turn it off if you're not going to be here.
Okay.
No, it's fine. Anyway, I'm on the subway late afternoon, like 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's packed. We're coming back to Brooklyn from Midtown Manhattan, and a couple things happen. These people come on the subway, and then they don't look like they're doing that great. You know what I mean? Like you can just sort of see what, like, their clothes are ill-fitting.
They look a bit disheveled.
You know, you wouldn't say, hey, that guy's doing great, or she looks like she's on top of the world. But they had this big sort of wheelbarrow type of thing filled with sandwiches, but wrapped in plastic.
Oh.
And they had another wheelbarrow type of thing of water. And the big guy...
and they wheeled this onto the subway?
Wheeled it on the subway.
Okay.
Come on and go, ladies and gentlemen. You know, as soon as people start talking out loud in a crowd...
Right.
You know, you start thinking like, okay, what's this all about?
Yeah, you get nervous.
A little bit. But they got a wheelbarrow full of Subway sandwiches. And so their thing is like, hey, everybody, just get your attention. And the train's moving. Free sandwiches, free water. This is what we're offering today. And again, they don't look like they're doing that great themselves.
No.
And the hook is you get a sandwich and a water for free with it if you wouldn't mind donating to the homeless.
Oh, okay.
But the reason I mentioned that these two didn't look that great is they looked. It's not like they were wearing like uniforms uniform. They didn't look like they were from an organization. They just looked like they brought some sandwiches on the subway,
Right.
and they were going to sell them under the guise of free sandwiches. Mm-hmm. You know, first thought was, who's going to take a sandwich and not give you money? I mean, secondly, how hungry do you have to be to have a water and a sandwich from two people who don't look like they're doing all that good?
No, not sandwich
I don't know what
artists.
their hygiene is. I don't know what the kitchen where it came from. Because Freddie, they were little, like sort of hand-sized sandwiches
6 inches.
in clear plastic. But they weren't subs. They were like sandwiches. I called them Subway sandwiches because they were selling them on the Subway.
Right.
But it was just. But again, anytime somebody starts talking out loud in a subway or a crowd, I'm like, what's going on here? And I found it fascinating. And then I saw, okay, who's going to ask for something? Sure enough, some woman who also didn't look like she was doing that great. She grabs the water, and then they take the sandwiches and they move down the car. So that episode ended. And I sort of like, I'm sitting next to Rachel, and Charlie's across from us, and we all kind of smirk and nod like, hey, that was weird. And then Rachel nudges me, and there's a guy sitting next to Rachel. He's got to be late 30s maybe, and he's got his earbuds in. And I see, he's just another guy on the train looking at his phone. Rachel nudges me to look over at his phone. I'm like, what? Because the sandwich people just left. I thought that was exciting. And I look over at this guy, and he's watching a pornographic film.
Oh, boy.
on his phone. Like it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
And in such a way that he didn't care if anybody else could see it. Obviously.
Well, he didn't have it out arms
Right.
stretched, but he just sort of had it like this. Maybe shaded a little bit away from the rest of us. But enough so when I looked over, you could see that it was porn. I was thinking, it's honestly, it's not even 4. He's watching what's the compulsion? Or was he watching it before he just wanted to see how it ended? I don't know.
Like, forget the time. I think more important is the place.
No, I know.
I mean, seriously, even if it's 10 o'clock at night and you're watching a porn on the subway, like, come on. Like, what? Like, you can't wait 10 minutes till you get home?
Right.
Well, exactly. But the best is, like, why does he have to have the sound on?
No.
Like, he's got his buds, he's watching it.
Oh,
yeah, man.
Oh.
He's watching. Now, when she nudges me, I look over and I start sort of laughing at myself. I'm like, this is great. I immediately think this is great because I can't wait to tell you. I can't wait to tell you.
And you probably recognize the film.
No.
You did.
Believe me, I looked.
Oh.
I'm like, no, I haven't seen that.
Collection from
Haven't seen that
California.
one.
Yeah,
Damn
I wanted to tap mine and go, excuse me, could you just
me the
email
title,
me? Could you just bookmark that for me? Could you just send
That's
me
one
the
I
link?
haven't seen.
Yeah. Could you send me the link to that?
By binge watching.
So Charlie's like, and we get off the subway. She goes, what was going on? I go, the guy's watching porn. He's like, what? But she tells me that it regularly, when not every time, but regularly when she's on this, there's always something. She says it's incredible. There's always somebody that will stop and go, everyone, just want to tell you something, and then just start yelling at everybody in the car. Now again, it's unnerving because you don't know, is that the person that's going to go off?
Of course. And you're in that confined area and there's no escape. Believe me, I know what you're talking about.
Now, the cars are air conditioned, but Charlie said in the summertime the worst was waiting on the platform because it's so hot.
Yes, yes.
And it was so hot in the city. And she found it stifling, actually. But you're packed in those cars pretty tightly.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I got the people selling homeless sandwiches.
Yep.
I got the guy watching porn. I'm like, this is great. This has been a great New York day. But, you make a good point. What is going on? What's going on in your life? You can't wait to get home to catch up on your porn. Like, it's one thing to go, oh, I'm watching a Netflix show. I'll catch up on that.
Well, there's another perspective, too. If you looked over and the guy was watching some war flick or some horror movie where people are getting bludgeoned and stabbed and killed and shot in the head and heads exploding, you'd think, oh, the guy's watching that movie. But then two people making love is a bigger deal.
How
Isn't
dare
that
you.
weird about our society, though?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, It's just how twisted we are, but...
Well, and again, I don't know. These two people didn't look like they were making love.
Okay. They were doing a love-making act.
That's right. They were making the beast with two backs.
It's a different whoopee.
What was
Did you ever hear that?
What style was it? Did I ever hear what?
That phrase, the beast with two backs.
The beast?
Isn't that,
No,
isn't
what's
that a
that?
phrase?
What is it?
What?
Have you heard that?
Explain it.
It's just a way to describe, two people having sex, I guess, because they're, I don't know.
Oh,
When
okay.
you're together,
You're together.
you look like a monster. that
Yeah.
happens to have two
Certainly
backs.
the way I do
Well,
it.
speak for yourself.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Was it anything like out of the ordinary, the film?
It seems traditional.
Yeah,
Seems traditional.
Yeah.
Somebody just said on Twitch, pro tip for New York City, never get on a nearly empty train. There's always a reason for it. Yeah.
Again, when I was in the UK, in the tube, it's like, I'm thinking, what if there was just, even if there was a track problem right now and this thing stopped and we were here for 45 minutes, I don't know if I could handle it. I just couldn't. Just too tight and too confined and in the smell and
But if you'd have been on the train with me, at least we would have had water and sandwiches.
yeah, water and sandwiches and a movie.
A horror flick.
It was all there for us.
It was all there. I wouldn't want to leave.
This is the greatest. This Subway restaurant is fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So yeah,
You would have never eaten one of those sandwiches, I'm sure.
Well, that's what I was saying. Is like, I don't know where these sandwiches were made.
Yeah.
And they were like, wheelbarrow's the wrong thing. Like some kind of rolling cart.
A push cart.
A push cart of sandwiches and water. Anyway, I was just...
If people who are hungry made the sandwiches, what are those sandwiches?
Yeah, and again, it didn't look like these two were doing all that great.
Yeah.
So...
And you're right. Where were they made?
Where were they made?
And what's on them?
And really, my first curiosity, I was looking around to see if anyone would get a sandwich and then get a sandwich for free. Like, who could do that?
Mm-hmm. Lots of people.
Oh, you said they're free?
Oh, yeah.
Great, and just start eating it. And then the homeless guys who's carting it around is like, a donation for the homeless? No, you said they were free.
Oh, boy.
Excuse me, I think these mayonnaise have expired. I want my donation back.
Or is it mayonnaise?
No, you take a bite and want to go, yeah, or Phil, come on, Phil.
No, it could be Miracle Whip.
Oh, okay. Anyway, let's get to our first guest here. Let's get to our guest. Let's get the Sherpa. Let's do that. Turn that on.
You said let's get it, and Sherpa was looking around. Where's the guest?
Somebody excited?
It is somebody exciting. All right. As always, a pleasure to welcome this gentleman to our studios. Now entering his, I don't even know, third year?
At least, no, I think we're in 3, so we're about to get to 4.
He's been with us. It's always a pleasure to find out his perspective on life and on liberty and on managing a portfolio. Raymond James, a member of the Canadian Investors Protection Fund, the Retirement Sherpas here. Look at him, look at him, look at him, look at him. Look at him. You've been traveling too there, son.
I have. I just finished 3 straight weekends in Gainesville, and I got to dry out a little bit now, but we had a lot of fun. One of the guys nearly got arrested for scalping a ticket on Saturday. That was fun, too. So we had a blast. It was 90,000 of my closest friends, and the good guys won, and it was just a super electric atmosphere.
I bet. When you're in one of those stadiums, how many people?
90,000.
What are the washroom facilities like? Do you try and time your pee? Because that's been my experience when I've been at the big house there in Michigan. It's like, oh my goodness, you got to pee, and then all of a sudden there's lineups out the.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. Yes, you don't want to go during peak pee periods, but
Right.
you can do okay.
Yeah.
You want to time your eating because there aren't a lot of good food choices in the stadium there.
No, but outside, I bet with the tailgaters.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. No,
What
it's
do you
just
mean
great.
people sell food outside of the stadium?
No, people tailgate.
No, I understand that.
They bring their own barbecues
Yeah.
and cook their own food. Yeah.
No, but I just thought you said meant like there was some food available for sale outside.
There might be. I
Yeah, there's
guess, but-
definitely some.
yeah.
There's definitely some. And this year, I think first year, Florida put a section where most of the people come in with a few good choices for food. So that's great there, but that's the only place in the whole darn stadium that's really got things that are moderately edible.
What's
But
the security situation when you're entering a stadium like that in America in 2019?
It's not too bad at all. They just have the bag checks, right? If you got a bag, you got to go through a different line. They do some police or whatever all around.
No one wands.
No wanding.
No wanding
going
eh?
on. No.
Yeah, interesting.
Because at the memorial, at the 9/11 memorial, you don't get wanded. You go through an airport style bag, goes through the scanner, TSA type of check.
Right. Yeah, I'm showing my age again. That's the question I asked about having a pee. 30 years ago, I would have never asked that question.
Well, and 30 years ago, we wouldn't have asked my question.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
No,
it didn't exist.
Didn't exist. It wouldn't have been a thought. But I asked because, in a group of 90,000 people, or on a Saturday at the 9/11 memorial, you better be aware. It's funny, even around Wall Street, and it's different than when we first
have to add that to your time. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I even noticed in the streets, like Wall Street, and a couple of those streets in Lower Manhattan now have those barriers, those street barriers.
Right.
Up. Never had those before.
Yeah, on London Bridge and all the bridges going across the Thames now, they have all those barriers on the sidewalks, so that vehicles can't drive up them.
Yeah, it's funny because we were walking around, and I said to Rachel, this didn't exist, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So you just get wanded, and you go through, and there you have it, a nice time. 90,000 people is 3 times the size of the city I grew up in. Isn't it wild? You're sitting there in a stadium where you could house, Moose Jaw, Weyburn, Estevan. Not Saskatoon, though.
No, certainly not the City of Bridges, I think Saskatoon is, right?
They have 2 bridges. That's a big deal in Saskatchewan.
Exactly, yes.
Did your team win?
Yeah, oh, God, yeah, of course, Fred. Absolutely. 3 for 3 on the trip, 6-0 in the season, 8th ranked in the country. Last week, Florida hosting Auburn was the biggest game in the country. This week, Florida playing at LSU is the biggest game in the country. So they're on a pretty bit of a murderer's row right now.
If they ever made it to the championship game on that Monday night, would you find a way to go?
I've been there, done that before. Sarah and I went. Yeah, Sarah, our daughter, just got transferred or whatever to Ohio State a number of years ago when Ohio State and Florida played in the then BCS championship in Phoenix. And to this day, I'm pretty sure I've never told Lorna how much the tickets cost. But, but it was a great game.
Isn't that interesting?
No, I'm talking about the national championship.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, yeah,
okay.
yeah, absolutely.
See, I don't know the letters and stuff.
Well, no, it used to be called the BCS Championship Bowl Championship Series, I guess, and now it's.
This could be a stupid question, but is there I know that your team is in the Big Ten? Is it in a bigger conference?
SEC,
which stands for
Southeastern Conference,
and
it just means more.
Is that one of the bigger conferences?
It's the conference.
Okay, so when there's a national championship, it's your conference against who?
Well, not necessarily, although it almost always ends that way. Currently, there's 4, if not 5, of the top 10 teams in the country that are on the Southeastern Conference. So they take their football seriously down south.
Yeah. You also have season tickets to York University football team, too, don't you?
I do.
The York Yeomen?
Yes, yeah. I haven't.
The Yeomen.
I haven't been able to afford the front row, unfortunately. So I'm pretty high up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because there's only 9 of those seats.
That's right. And tailgating is a box of Timbs.
Yeah.
We used to go to the Vanier Cup every year when it was still played at Vanier Stadium. That was a lot of fun. A good little slice of Canadiana.
Varsity Stadium, you mean?
Sorry, thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Canadian university football and, in fact, Canadian professional football has never been much, as exciting as, say, university ball in the States. But Canadian university basketball out west, at least, was very well attended, very well. It was a bigger deal out there. I don't know if it's a big deal or was ever a big deal here, but I just remember university ball being a pretty big deal.
Well, my alma mater is Carleton University, and I don't usually get to brag about it, but they've won, I think, 9 of the last 10 men's national basketball championships. So it's big in the East, too.
Yeah.
Speaking of school, let's talk about funding your child's post-secondary education. A lot of people curious about an RESP now that school is back. Let's find out what it is, who can contribute to it, what the government gives, and a couple other questions about it, because my child is currently in her second year of university and her college and drawing money out of an RESP that we set up for her many, many years ago, and happy I did it. Even before I met the Sherpa.
Yeah, they're a fantastic thing. Now that insurance month is over, I thought we'd talk about the school stuff instead.
I miss insurance
month. Those
month.
are the good old days, man. It only comes once a year, insurance
Seriously.
month. So RESP, Registered Education Savings Plan, the government will give 20% of what you put in to certain limits, $2,500 a year or $5,000. You can catch up 1 year at a time if you're a little bit behind, which is great. And, you know, parents, of course, classically be the ones that do it, but grandparents could. If they had a couple of great grandchildren, cute grandchildren, you know, aunts, uncles, it really doesn't matter. Anybody can, in essence, put the money in for the kid. A lot of people use, like, the money they get for birthdays or whatever.
Who gets a write-off?
There.
Whoever puts it in?
Nobody gets a write-off, but you get a 20% credit from the government, Canada Education Savings Grant, CESG, to go into your RESP. And if the kid never goes to school, that's cool. You get all your money back and all the growth. You just don't get to keep what the government put in. So it's really a win-win situation.
So you put in $1,000.
Yep.
The government does what?
They give you $200, 20%.
So they give you 20%.
Yeah.
And it
Up to $2,500 a year, the government would put in, or that's your limit.
$500 a year on your $2,500.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you put in $2,500. Let's say the government gives you 20%. It grows over time. If you don't go to post-secondary, they take back their 20.
Sure, because that's what it's for,
That's
right?
basically it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
fair.
What it's being used for, or what it can be qualified for, is getting kind of larger and larger and larger. It doesn't have to just be a university or a college. It could be a trade school, any number of accredited post-secondary education.
And they're pretty good as far as pulling it out.
Right.
As you just said, you know, it doesn't have to be in a university situation, and you really only have to, you know, show them that you've applied or you've registered for a program.
So it's not taxed on its way out either?
It's taxing the kids' money, just the growth, so that's much more tax effective that way, right? So it's sheltered all the way along, and you know, you don't even have to use it for school. I mean, I joke you can buy a Corvette with it if you want. All that matters is you're registered in the school. Obviously, you still have to pay your school stuff, but you can spend it as you want.
Who directs or who decides what the investments are? The government, or can you have a say in that?
Oh, absolutely. It's totally the client's choice or advisor's choice.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, because you're not buying it through the government. You're buying it through your advisor or an advisor.
Yeah.
It's just when we had those plans at work at Chorus, they invested the money for you. Yeah.
Right. So there are some plans, and they're really good at getting you in the nursery at the hospital with some different type of plans, some kind of closed-end plans that you don't have investment choices. If some people's kids don't go, you share in the pot. But in my experience, some are better than others is a polite way to put it. So if you get one through an advisor, through a bank, wherever, you got total investment choices as to what to put in.
Well, we did it for both of our kids. Again, thanks to my ex-wife, who I guess she met the person that became our RESP advisor. And so by the time you've contributed, you know, for 15 or 18 years, it's a pretty good size of
20% a year.
Yeah, and you know, it paid for Charlie's school, and it paid, you know, and it not just pays, you get to take all that money out each year, and it pays for everything. I mean, it pays for her rent and all that stuff. It was really a smart move, and again, if you got young kids or grandkids, it's a great idea, and Tim can help you out. Tim will take care of it for you. That's why we're here.
I'd be happy to, absolutely.
Of course you would.
It's more of a problem in the States than in Canada, I perceive, but, you know, student debt is a real bad thing, right? So you're doing the right thing. You're going to school, you're getting your education, helping out your job prospects in the future, but you don't want to be paying the darn thing off a student loan for 10 or 20 years after that. That's not a good thing. So the RESP, very proactive, helps get ahead of the game and works out great.
Tim Niblett is a portfolio manager. Get it. Tim.Niblett at RaymondJames.ca. Always a pleasure to have you here. I was excited when I saw you because I thought, of course, he's back here for Final 80s night.
I'm happy to be home. It's great to be back. And, yeah, pretty surreal. A couple of the guys I'm in the foursome with today were just hanging in the Gator garage with me the other day.
I saw your boy AT
and here we are.
on the Reigns yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take a break here. It's Humble and Fred Radio. We're live around Southern Ontario. That's where you're hearing us. So much more to go. We've got some great audio of the Prime Minister talking to children about why you shouldn't put dark makeup on your face and pretend you're from another race. It's Humble and Fred Radio.
Supposed to have a conference in Vancouver for RJ, which I love, our National Business Conference in Vancouver, and I just see like 53 people. I never see the rest of the year.
The Toronto-bound side of the
But whatever.
is heavy.
But
You're
we
going to
just
find
have
it
to
late
cancel
from
because the
Fruitland
Western
into
Bay Shore in
Skyway.
Vancouver,
You're
the
going to
staff
find volume as you go to
are on
Burlington,
strike.
Howard.
Are you on Twitch right now?
Yes.
Get another
I'm there
Well, they,
See if
they
this
were sure
works.
they couldn't get another
See if something
hotel, and they
happens.
weren't sure that they could run it properly, or even wanted to.
What am I
They
looking
wanted to have
for?
us going through picket
Just
lines
pop,
to
start up, start, pop,
go
pop.
to the conference, right? So that's a drag.
Where should I look?
Although I did get invited to the Bob Seger concert and had to decline, so maybe I can
Oh, I don't see it.
revisit that. Toronto somewhere, but it's the weekend I was supposed to be away. But I'm like you guys have been talking about it. I mean, an hour each way and the crowds. I mean, obviously
Yeah,
for
Bob
football
Seger.
apparently. but-
Bob Seger certainly wouldn't get me out of my basement.
No.
I've never been a big Seger fan.
Yeah.
I don't dislike him, but I've never had any passion for it.
You mentioned Freddie Anderson against St. Louis. Was he the goalie? Obviously he was that game, right? Which game was it that they didn't use their top?
Against the Habs Saturday night.
Oh, okay. When they blew it.
Just $5. Best of all, you can get them any time of day on our breakfast anytime menu. Get 2 classic breakfast sandwiches.
And then I'm listening to the radio yesterday. The big issue now is 4 games and John Tavares hasn't scored a goal. Oh.
Actually, the guy's golfing with one of the guys. He's a good bud of Morgan Riley's dad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's Riley's a good bud. And just a real solid citizen apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
Who's that?
Really.
Keeps his pants
Morgan,
on.
Morgan Riley. Yeah. Oh yes, I heard about that. That it seems like they were just even denying it happened, and even
That's
showing
what
the
pissed
video
off
and
the
everything.
woman.
Yeah.
She said she would have let it go, but when his dad came down and said, "My son wouldn't do that." Oh yeah, look at this.
Who said that?
Where Austin Matthews' dad was in the same complex. He came down and he was going, "What's going on here?" And she said, "You know, your son did this."
Oh, yeah, and he
my
said
son
it.
wouldn't do that. He pulled down his pants. My son wouldn't do that. Oh, okay. There's video on fucking everything nowadays, right? No matter what you do, where you are.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
In
You
this
never,
day and age,
you
you know
never
there's
know.
a camera everywhere,
Yeah.
right? Especially if you have
Yes.
some level of renown.
Well, not only that, like in a probably a high class condo in
Mhm.
Scottsdale, I'm pretty sure there's going to be security cameras.
Organic and gluten-free options.
Because I imagine that's a nice complex he lives in. You know, at 11 million a year.
Yeah. But he's scoring goals.
Yeah.
Metro Winona
Oh yeah, that's
Great.
that's.
Come join us for all
And
your
the Tampa Bay Rays beat the Astros last night.
Did they? So that's
The
2-2.
Astros threw Verlander at them in game
Yeah,
4
so that's
to
2-2.
try to seal the deal. Yeah. Yeah. Going back to the deciding game in Houston.
Was there anybody in the crowd last night?
Yeah, and I did watch it, but they might have crested 20,000.
That's
That
so
should-
sad.
it's horrible.
Get
The,
'em.
the baseball team's amazing. The organization.
Traditionally, they're good.
Yeah. With less too, right?
They're all about scouting and developing their prospects. The things that the Jays have been vacant on for years.
Even the thing. That
Can
they,
you imagine if you had a team like that in Toronto?
Oh, amazing. Well, they kind of pioneered the big shift, I think, right on defense, to shade the third defender over. They do the start, or sorry, the opener they call it now, right, where like a reliever will come in for 2 innings.
Yeah.
Not do
What
the
team are you talking
classic
about?
The
starter.
opener.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a new concept in baseball. I think we talked about one they call the opener. So a guy will come on and just pitch the first 2 innings instead of like 4 or 5, 6. Justin Smoke, that shift destroyed him this year. He hits the ball the same place every time.
Right, right. Hitting it hard's nice, but if there's 3 guys over there already, there's not too many spots. How we doing, Phil?
Yeah, good. I gotta think about the RSPs of my unborn children.
There you go.
Because of the government grant.
Well,
No, I should-
You can't get a social insurance number before it's when they're in the womb.
Well, that's true.
You know, I paid for all my kids' college and housing and everything. I never had an RESP.
Yeah.
So 20% of that could have been.
Yeah, the rule for employees. Just so very good.
Wait for it. No. Yeah, no.
When I was so alone, you were there to lift me up. But one thing that I know for sure, you're gonna realize loving Darling, you're wrong.
I thought you'd love this, Phil. This little bit of 70s Doobie Brothers groove for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What'd you just think of?
Our breaks in and out all day today should have been John Lennon. It's his. He would have been 79 today.
Oh.
But we can still do one.
Yeah.
You know, as a tribute to John. After all, you were just at the Dakota on the weekend. And
Yeah, did you hear that? I was hanging out at the Dakota. That was...
what he meant to our lives. 79 today. Well.
So he would have had his birthday on October 9th, 1980. Turned 40.
Yeah.
And then 2 months later, October, November, almost 2 months and a day later, he was killed.
Think about that. You have lived 19 more years than he already, and I'm like 23 more years. That wasn't much of a life, was it? I mean, as far as longevity goes, 40, you're a kid, man.
And
Wow.
The other weird thing is on December 8th, 1980, I was on the air at a radio station in Vancouver. I was doing the all-night show that night, and I was a couple months shy of my 21st birthday.
Mm-hmm.
How weird is that?
Child.
Seriously.
They gave control to a child.
Well, I was doing the all-night show. It wasn't much control, but I'm like...
Yeah, but you were a morning man at a very young age, too, right?
I was a morning man a year later.
Yeah.
I was a morning man at 21.
Yeah.
In fact, I did all nights that December into the spring of the following year. I was doing mornings I think May of 1981 I got a morning show. But that night that Lennon died, I did the all-night show. And in those days, on AM radio, it was unheard of to play 2 songs in a row.
Right. By
FM
the
stations-
same artist, you mean?
No.
Oh.
2 songs without talking.
Any artist, right?
So in those days,
wow.
I did the all-night show, and like I said, only FM stations played 2 songs back-to-back without talking.
Right.
AM stations, the announcers talked every song, and so from midnight to 6 every day for a few years, I talked after every song. So 16, 18 times an hour. And that night when Lennon died, I'm like, all we played were Beatles songs. They're all 2 minutes long.
And what were you saying in between? Hey, John said.
LG's.
How many spins can you put on that?
It's 2:30 in Vancouver. John Lennon's still dead.
Although it might be John made you a morning man. Hey, did you see Howard talking between all those Beatles songs? Let's make him a morning man.
36
Yeah, that's how it happened. Let's sign that kid up.
Sign that kid up. Look, he handled that death thing really good.
Oh, he does good death humor.
By a bullet.
No, it was weird, man. And it was weird I did 5 shifts a week, 6 hours a night, talking after every single song. Plus, there's no commercials. You know, maybe the odd one.
And did you literally play 45s on a turntable?
No. Okay. By that time, they were on the carts. It's weird because I never played records until I got into an FM radio station.
Yeah.
So the following spring, I went to the FM station and started queuing up records.
When I started at Chick Radio in Brampton in 1979, they were still using the wax on the turntables.
Yeah.
It's like the song's Edison singing or something, right?
No, it was a disco station at the time.
Was it really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just was one of those things that AM jocks never played 2 songs back to back without talking. Backsell the song, like who was that artist, say something, and then intro the next song, and then 3 minutes later do it again. Even when it wasn't Beatles songs, there weren't. You played a 4.5 minute song. That was it. There were no back to back. Literally, it's 4 a.m. I could have set the computer up or whatever and had 3 or 4 songs in a row, but you couldn't. It's just weird. It's 4:03. It's 4:03. It's 4:07. It's 4:11. It's 4:15. It's 4:20.
But so they didn't even suspend it for Lennon's death, that you could play some Beatles songs together without talking in between? What were you saying in between?
Who knows?
I mean, seriously.
Who knows?
How many ways could you say John Lennon was shot?
LG 73, there's John Lennon. It's 2:13 in the morning. Now here's more John Lennon at 2:15 in the morning. It's 2:17.
He was shot tonight,
Still shot.
He was shot in New York.
Some sound effects. Boom, boom. What do you
sound
do?
effects.
It's wacky AM radio.
It was raining in New York.
Yeah.
All right.
Next break.
Here's an interesting story about Ellen DeGeneres and George W. Bush and football.
Imagine all
Now, we'll get to that story first. Do you want to say something about 5-Hour Energy?
In a minute.
Yeah. Okay. Just take a second. For years, 5-Hour Energy has been fueling this show. And, they're on our website. Do you mention them in the pre-roll as well?
Not throw it back in there.
Throw it back in there. Yes, he does. Throw it back in.
5-Hour Energy. Now available in the extra strength. You know what it's like. You're feeling sluggish in the morning. You need that pickup. One shot of 5-Hour Energy gets you going for 5 hours. 5-Hour Energy available pretty much anywhere. Go to 5hourenergy.com. They're running a fantastic contest right now called the Country Sweepstakes. 5hourenergy.com.
And, of course, our friends at Strain Print doing so much for so many, making the cannabis experience better. Phil, when is the next round of legalization here? Isn't it this month?
Yeah, it should be edibles, right?
All kinds of edibles, oils, tinctures, concentrates.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's this month. The point is, you're soon to be overloaded again with a bunch of choices and terms. And, don't just find out from your friends. Find out from hundreds of thousands of other people how they're making their cannabis experience different. Thousands of strains are available. Everyone processes it differently. To learn more, go to strainprint.ca. With so much information, whatever your symptom is, whatever you'd like to use cannabis for, find out what other people are doing, whether it's inflammation or arthritis or pain management. There are all kinds of different ways to use cannabis recreationally and medicinally, and strainprint.ca is a great gateway. It's a gateway to drug information, Phil, not a gateway drug.
Drug insight.
Thank you. Strainprint.ca.
Yeah, on the weekend, this story displays that, there's evil on both sides. Liberals will accuse conservatives of being, mean and vicious and vice versa. On the weekend, Ellen DeGeneres and would it be her wife, Portia?
Yeah.
Would they be married? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They were invited by Jerry Jones' daughter, who owns the Dallas Cowboys, to come to the Packers Dallas game at the big ATT stadium in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, ATM?
AT&T.
AT&T Stadium. So she goes there. So Ellen goes into the private box, the Dallas Cowboys private box with Jerry Jones' daughter. Mm-hmm. She sits down, and who's beside her? But George W. Bush is there. So anyway, during the game, they're talking and laughing, and a few times they showed shots of the private box, and Ellen sort of almost leaning into the ex-president, laughing, having a good time. Well, on the heels of that, she is just hammered through social media, emails, and just generally that how could you actually sit with that man and have a good time? Based on the fact that she's gay and that she's, leans to the left and was an Obama supporter. How could you actually do that? To such a degree that she went on her show, I guess it was yesterday or the day before, and actually had to explain herself, believe it or not.
So to be clear, a bunch of people that support her didn't think she should be friendly with or seen with somebody from another point of view, which again displays that thing we were talking a little bit about with Ben Murgy yesterday, which is people's confirmation bias. But the idea that you shouldn't associate with somebody that has a different opinion than you is immature and asinine and social media, etc.
Well, what would they have her do? Just think about that. So she goes into the box, she sits down, and George W. Bush is beside her. What? Ignore him? Not talk to him?
Right.
Sneer at him?
Sour faces.
Don't take any pictures with him.
Ask to have another seat?
Right.
I mean, let's be adult about this.
I'm going to play you the clip of her explaining part of that, but there's a funny part early in there. She goes, the real thing was, because she explains what you just did, but she goes, the real problem was I was cheering for the Packers.
Yeah.
Because she's friends with Aaron Rodgers. And so every time the Packers score, she was kind of like secretly cheering. She's in the owner of the Cowboys box, and she's cheering for the Packers, which I thought was hilarious. But here she is explaining a little bit about this situation. That's not her. That's music.
Man, she can play a guitar.
Yeah.
Ellen was singing.
Here she goes.
Man in the world. And So I've got to say, when we were invited, I was aware that I was going to be surrounded with people from very different views and beliefs. And I'm not talking about politics. I was rooting for the Packers, and get this, everybody in the Cowboys suite was rooting for the Cowboys. And so I had to hide my cheese hat in Portia's purse. And don't get me wrong, I like the Cowboys. I love the Cowboys. I love all the Village people, as a matter of fact. But Aaron Rodgers is a friend of mine. He's the quarterback for the Packers, and so I'm sitting in the Cowboys suite, the owner of the Cowboys, secretly cheering, or every time another. And the referees, you guys, George and me laughing together, and so people were upset. They thought, why is a gay Hollywood liberal sitting next to a conservative Republican president? Didn't even notice I'm holding the brand new iPhone 11, and
this is a great line.
But a lot of people were mad, and they did what people do when they're mad. They tweet, and but here's one tweet that I loved. This person says, Ellen and George Bush together makes me have faith in America again.
I was trying to get to that part where she says about being kind to everyone. I think it's coming up here, where she's talking about being kind to people even if they don't believe what you believe.
I'm friends with George Bush. In fact, I'm friends with a lot of people who don't share the same beliefs that I have. We're all different, and I think that we've forgotten that that's okay that we're all different. For instance, I wish people wouldn't wear fur. I don't like it, but I'm friends with people who wear fur.
That's a really important point, I think, that she makes, that we've forgotten that it's okay to like people who don't absolutely agree with everything you say. I mean, what makes us friends with people is we share views, some views with them, but it's okay to be friends with people who don't.
Recently on Facebook, I have seen more than once I was talking to someone today that plans on voting for Andrew Scheer, unfriended them immediately. Mm-hmm. You see that all the time. So it's
see, I would think
even on that level,
I would think that person would. You can't be real friends with somebody if they were going to vote a way you didn't agree with and you unfriended them.
That's not friendly.
Because see, to me, that says more about you than
them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm friends with people who are furry, as a matter of fact. I have friends who should tweeze more. And I have, but just because I don't agree with someone on everything doesn't mean that I'm not going to be friends with them. When I say be kind to one another, I don't mean only the people that think the same way that you do.
I think that's what I wanted to get to is, that's something that gets lost in social media because it's so easy to say, I don't like you, now we're not friends.
Right.
But it's not real friends.
No.
Because you don't agree with everything Dan says.
No.
You don't like his music?
Mm-hmm. No. Oh, no. I don't mind his music.
It's too loud.
It's the volume.
It's too loud, Dan's music.
Although I haven't had a taste of that in weeks.
People don't know Fred's place is right next to Dan's, and Dan has these speakers, and he's buried them in the ground. They sound great. The system is amazing. He's got everything you can imagine in an audio situation, but his musical taste is a bit odd.
It can be.
It can be.
Yes.
He has been like that for as long as I've known him. He's the guy that listens to world music and buys beer from places you've never heard of. You're like, Transylvania? I didn't know they made a beer. And that's just who he is.
Dan bought craft beer when it wasn't much of a craft.
Right.
Back then, like.
Hey, Fred, here's some stuff made from monk sweat. Ooh, tasty.
Yeah.
But, no, to give him credit, he was long before. He used to say that Dan's weird beer, and he'd bring a six-pack of it with 6 different beers made from around the world.
And it's like, in retrospect, who was the laugh at? He was the guy trying new experiences, new tastes, and everything, and we're all making fun of him. And now here we are, so many years later, and
men bunning with
everybody's
the same stuff.
trying new beers, new tastes, and oh well.
But it's a great sentiment, and it's interesting. Fred and I watched this clip this morning, and I said to him, it's sort of interesting how she seamlessly became the new Oprah, because her show sort of started, I think, toward the end of Oprah's run.
2003 or so.
But it was this seamless crossover when Oprah retired, went to cable, and then the mantle was sort of handed to Ellen. But she's different than Oprah. But she's genuinely she seems like a kind person. Plus, she's got a skill that Oprah never had, which is she's really funny.
Funny, right?
Like legit funny.
And what Ellen went through, remember, she was torn for the longest time about coming out, right?
Oh, yeah. She was the cover of Time magazine when she came out in the 90s, I guess.
Fictionally on her TV show.
On her TV show.
Right. As a character.
But her person was the face of, Time magazine. It was a huge thing. And if you read read about her or she'll talk about it. It devastated her career for about 5 years.
Well, did it not end the sitcom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I think they had one more season or one half a season, but it didn't play well in Middle America, where she's from. But she went through a lot.
Imagine that.
I know.
You're really funny. I love your show, but you're gay. Shut it down.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, come
we
on.
can't. And it's ironic because the people who made that decision in Hollywood, a lot of them were gay as well.
Yeah.
But they knew it wasn't going to play.
Right.
And when she came back and did this show, it all kind of came together for her. It was her ability to be funny and kind and to connect with that audience. Again, the Oprah audience seems to have been imported or ported over to the Ellen audience. I haven't watched it that much. I watch clips of it. I've seen her does that scare thing when she scares people. But I just find her funny.
Yeah, she has a lot of different bits and games and things with the audience, so it's not just
Does she
her
still
self-talking.
dance when she comes to
yes,
does
absolutely.
the dancing thing?
Yeah, which I like.
Yeah, I do too. She's an interesting woman.
You know, that could be cheesy, but she just pulls it off.
Yeah.
Because she's cool in a weird way. And if you watch her stand-up, her latest Netflix special, did you ever see it?
I watched a little bit of it. I'm just a serial starter on Netflix.
It's well worth the time. It's very, she hasn't done stand-up in a long time, but you can see she's got stand-up cred. She was one of the best, when I was doing it in the 80s, she was one of the best out there. She was considered like one of the top people doing it. It was no surprise. She was the first woman ever on Carson to be called over on her first time.
Yeah.
And that clip of her in the big balloon pants and the short hair, it was very interesting. But there she is. Now she's that person. She's the new Oprah.
Yeah, and doing well. And as I say, I would watch Oprah sometimes if there was a big guest on or whatever. But I can sit and watch Ellen anytime. It's just a fun show. And she gets a lot of great people on that show because obviously she's liked within the community. Very much.
Stern's going to be on, I think, this week or next. He's in L.A., and I heard him say he's doing her show. We're doing a show on Twitch. Is there something you need to tell us? Is there new things? No, we're good?
I'm good.
Where are you going? He's fixing some cameras. The picture of Bush, by the way, go watch the full clip because the picture of George Bush looks like he's having a great time.
Apparently he's got a pretty good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Again, there was that whole, thing in the early 2000s that
sort of that thing where
that people haven't forgotten.
Where he declared war in an entire country that had nothing to do with 9/11.
That's right.
That thing. Yeah.
I mean, there's some people that can't get over that.
Yeah. Well, there's there's some people that are no longer with us.
There's this other big story going on right now, which is really weird. Houston Rockets, NBA, their general manager, Daryl Morey, tweeted something in support of the Chinese protests.
Hong Kong protests.
Oh, Hong Kong protests for democracy, right?
Yep.
Are those people not Chinese?
No, they're Hong Kong Chinese.
Oh, okay.
They're special.
But anyway, there's a Chinese connection.
You're racist, Phil.
Because the NBA has really set down some roots in China and make literally billions of dollars a year.
Absolutely.
Off through China. And the Chinese government got upset at this tweet now and has already started to withdraw money and cancel deals based on this.
Yeah.
They're very sensitive, Phil.
Well, considering I live in Canada, that's the greatest part of sensitivity.
No, it's not you, them.
No, that's what I mean. They're very politically sensitive. That's why I'm reluctant to talk about it.
So Adam Silver, the president or the commissioner of the NBA, has sort of had to come down on this guy and tell the other guys in the NBA, you got to be very careful with your tweets. But sort of the catch here is here's a guy that's promoting democracy. He's on the side of the students that want freedom, and yet he's being told by the league to shut it down because of money. Very sticky situation. And, put yourself in that situation. At what point do you sacrifice money based on principle? And that's the situation they're in right now.
Oh yeah, there was a South Park episode that went through that same treatment, by the way, recently, and so they're telling them to bugger off.
China banned South Park after the show made fun of Chinese censorship. All because of what? Of the NBA.
And all that controversy. But it's surprising that South Park is even aired there in the first place.
But the irony is, if this guy in the NBA promoted like communism or suppressing people, you think, that's bad. But when you're promoting democracy and freedom in this situation, that's bad. It's it's billions of dollars on the table, though.
Sorry, another layer to that is Nike, of course, it's huge for them as well, and an enormous market. So Silver's got to walk a real fine line to support the players and the managers.
Right.
Popovich came out in defense of him the other day. Steve Kerr hasn't commented yet, and he's pretty liberal and forward and all. But LeBron James is an example. James is the big guy for Nike, makes, if not billions, certainly tens of millions from them. So he's got a real fine line. There's a lot of people involved in this that are going to have a hard time saying the right things.
And where are we at with the protests, Phil?
Still violent, still angry, and the leader of Hong Kong says she won't rule out military intervention. So, not the greatest place to be right now, even though I was married there. I'm actually very sad about this.
What? Sad about being married there?
No,
He adds that. It's like,
it's always the thing at the end. You go, what?
Phil, I'm sorry.
I have an 82-year-old great aunt there. My
take us down. Take us through it.
My eldest aunt, my dad's eldest sister,
yes,
didn't come to Canada, and so she has two kids there, and they work in the port of Hong Kong, and obviously they're all affected by this. So,
and Hong Kong's not China.
Hong Kong is an administrative region of China, which has its own laws and principles.
And
as of what, 99 was it? Or
97.
97.
And the protesters in Hong Kong, these are protesting against the Chinese.
They want their own. Well, originally it was against a law that is very long to explain, but that law's been struck, so we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Okay.
But now they're asking to elect their entire city council, their legislative assembly.
And the Chinese government doesn't want to do that.
No, because they followed the old British model of just electing half of them, and then all the corporations and banks and big professionals vote in the other half.
You know, for a society that's built on communism, it's pretty corrupt over there. It's pretty. For a communist country, they're very capitalist.
Yes.
As well, but only for a few.
There was a fun scene in a CBC documentary years ago about China where they were electing a village mayor, and so a bunch of townspeople showed up, and they're like, "Okay, give me my ballot." And so some folks got one ballot, other folks got three. They're just like, "Come on, let me vote for this guy." And there was one candidate.
And you were married there.
And you were married there. All the things. All the things.
Someday I got married in Scarborough. Someday I'll tell you some stories about that place.
The homeland of Scarborough. And the bluffs.
Wow. Oh, man.
And the sound center.
Oh, you're priceless. Nothing to laugh at.
No, it's not, Fred.
People are dying.
People are dying, and Phil was married there.
Yes.
All right. Well, we still haven't gotten to the Trudeau story, but you're going to hear some great audio coming up if you hang around a little bit. We also have a new general manager of your Toronto Argonauts. That's big news.
The one way for the Argonauts to make the news, eh?
Yeah.
Yes,
hire the one guy anyone's heard of.
That's right. That everyone loves.
And I promise you, we will get to some of your emails about the Leafs in Montreal. That contest is continuing for another couple of weeks. We'll tell you how you can enter, how you can win. And we'll come right back here in a second. It's Humble and Fred Radio. We're around Southern Ontario for the first time in a long time, listening to the show live. We got Phil, we got Tim Niblett, we got Sergeant Sean at humbleandfredradio.com.
Double back.
Just like starting over. Yes.
Boo-boo. Mr. Boo-boo. May I come again? Decathy.
But it's true. It's true. My aunt is in Vancouver right now, and she doesn't want to go back because of that. She's retired.
Do you want to? You mean you want to sponsor a listener? You can do. Listen to this, Fred. I think it's $500 a person.
But I know there's a lot of interest in it, so, Humble and Fred have been very, very good to me, so if I can kind of pitch in on that.
Like, how would that, you mean like we just said, and the Sherpa's going to buy, if you want to bring another friend, it's a courtesy of the Sherpa?
So is it just one person?
It's two people.
We have the solution.
It's a trip for two. But you know what we could do is say, and we'll give you the plugs every time we do it. We could say this. We say,
we better talk to what's his head though, because I don't.
If they got availability.
Right.
Well, not availability, and would he sell singles? Because it might be hard. If we give a single to sell a single.
Well, if somebody bought a single, he would pay for their friend. That's what he's saying.
Oh no, I'll do the two. Doesn't matter.
That's $1,000.
Just trying to help the family out there.
Well, can you get a hold of him? Mm-hmm. See if he's got an extra pair? Mm-hmm. I'm sure he does. Yeah.
It's just you guys, got a lot of interest in it and all, so I don't know if you can send 2 listeners instead of 1. What the heck?
Well, we're sending 2 already, but we sent 2 more. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Pair.
Let's fucking do it. Let's do that shit. Make that announcement now. I love it. Yay, Sherpa.
Saving the world, one client at a time.
That's great. One meeting at a time. The buddy I was golfing with yesterday told me he loved me as he was leaving, and I wasn't ready for that, so I didn't quite know how to react. I've got some pals in Florida, especially, that we say that to.
Yeah, I know. Me and Tim.
But never from this guy before.
Oh yeah, get the I love you. I love you, man. I love you, man.
Are you playing with Jimmy, I guess, today?
Yeah, and Russ.
And Gortz?
No, Gortz fucking isn't playing. That's our normal group. It's me, Tim, and Gortz, and whoever. But no, it's me, Glowinski, Scott Jameson, big
golfer, yeah.
Oh yeah, he fucking hits it a mile. He fucking hits it forever.
He's a financial guy too.
Is he?
Yeah, Asante Wealth Management.
Whatever.
He's still a good person.
He is a good person.
How do you feel about me?
Are you sure you want to do that?
I need to get a wall mount for that thing so it stops rattling all the time. Can I put 2 screw holes in that wall there?
Yeah, it's a value to us. I just feel bad that's a fucking G.
No, thank you. I wouldn't have offered it. It's been a great partnership. So anything I can do to pitch in a bit.
Well, I'll just.
Well, what do you want to? What are you gonna do? Can you get a hold of it?
I was just gonna call Mario and say, put 2 aside for purchase.
Are you doing that now, or you?
I can.
You can, or you want to just call him when we're done?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I'm sure.
I got his card here. We'll give him a shout. Sherpa,
I'll
tell you where you're gonna.
I'm just a little reluctant announcing it before it's nailed down.
If it doesn't exist, right?
But I'm sure it.
Well, that's true. They're promoting to try to get business from it, so.
I'm just going to call him right now. Okay? If you want to announce
do
it
it
now.
For sure. Do you have his number?
Mm-hmm.
My dad's one and only comment ever so far. Why does it say commercial break? You clearly don't listen on the radio. He just doesn't listen to the radio. That's great.
Well,
Hi, Dad.
How are you?
I'm Sergeant Bob.
Patterson. Not bad. Hey, listen, Mario. One of our clients here, the retirement Sherpa, he would like to buy a pair for that trip to give away to one of our listeners. So we'd be giving away 2 pairs, your pair and his pair. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so the availability's there. We can make that announcement and everything. So. Okay, buddy. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, bye. Yeah. Okay, good to go.
We're good? Okay. We'll make that announcement right now. Let's. Do you want to read the cancer one or no? I don't know. Do we want to read that?
I mean, she can win. Do we want people to think
let's
she
not.
won because they got cancer?
No.
Although we could give it to her without that. You know what I'm saying?
All we have left is
we got what?
You have Chambers plan left.
Great to be with you on this sunny Wednesday in October. If you want to feel some gratitude as you're driving in or getting on some transit, just think about all those people in Western Canada. It's a great place to live, Western Canada, but winter comes early. You know, it reminds you that, you know, we're a big, wide country, different ecosystems and weather systems. And, you know, here in southern Ontario, we are southern. We're lower on the map of North America. I say this all the time. We're lower than a fifth of the United States. We're way down here. And if you live in Manitoba, Northern Ontario, even Northern Ontario, I imagine, is further along in winter than we are.
Who's that?
Northern Ontario.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Like where that kid, where's that guy, Jonathan? Where's he from again?
Yeah, Jonathan Price. He's over in Fort Francis.
Where's Fort Francis?
It's in the border with International Falls, Minnesota, west of Thunder Bay.
But it's
very
north.
Small.
Is it north up there?
Yes, it's very north.
All right. Well, we're happy to have you along on a sunny day.
It's 7 Celsius in Wawa right now.
Wawa. John Lennon's birthday today. Now we're see, I got all the Lennon music. I got it all going.
Yeah, I know, you're right on it.
Double Fantasy. You heard about that?
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's one of the songs from that.
I was when that album first came out, and we still had cassettes. I made a cassette of just the John songs that I would that I play in the car. I mean, I was going to say I'm not proud of that, but honestly, that album was great, and then every other track was her screeching, and I couldn't take it. So I made a cassette of just him. So it was a short album, more like an EP.
That's right. It's a 7-song EP, Sans the Screech. So the deal is this. We've been talking about the Leafs in Montreal with our friends from Leaf Express, toursport.com, giving away a round-trip ticket for you and a friend to go to Montreal for the Leafs game. The trip is October 25, 6, and 7. Leaving from Toronto, returning back. You have a great weekend, lots of fun. You visit the Big Apple. You see the game.
2 nights accommodations, as you say, tickets to the game, pre-game party, post-game party, a little tour of the city, apparently.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
And the first Leaf game in Montreal this season.
Yes.
Not the first game against the Habs.
No.
The Habs won the other night, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're giving away a pair. All you got to do is send us a note, Humble and Fred at humbleandfredradio.com, and in the subject line, just put Leafs in Montreal, or somebody here put Leafs versus Habs sweepstakes.
Mm-hmm.
I'll read this one. My name is Chris Seawright, and I'd like to win this opportunity out with my foreman, Mike Marting. We work for a Canadian company. Get this. They build skate sharpeners. What's more Canadian than that?
Wow.
For pretty much every friggin' hockey team everywhere. But this guy who writes the note, Chris, he says, but personally, I've never been to an NHL game.
What?
He sharpens skates.
Never been to an NHL game.
What could be better than seeing this game as my first?
Mm-hmm.
Please consider this email as an entry. Thanks a billion, ya hosers. And thank you, CS.
Jean Gazet.
You know, on the subject of skate sharpening, when I was a kid, we'd often have games at Leaside Arena. Excuse me. And the man who sharpened the skates down in the basement of Leaside Arena was Frank Mahovlich's dad.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody liked to have their skates sharpened by him. And he had pictures of Frank up there. Man, magical memories from our childhood, eh? Huh? Hey, Dana Shooter. She says, hi, guys and Amanda. This year I'm looking down the barrel of 60 years of age. For this celebratory year, I would love to attend a Leafs game with my son. He's a hardcore fan. So those are the type of entries we're getting from... you know what? We should just name some of these people. Gwen Spencer, Jason Judge, Alan Matheson, Mike Gawley. These are people.
They are people.
We're getting... Here's the thing. We can't read them all, but we're getting all your emails, and all will be considered.
And we appreciate it. Humble and Fred at humbleandfredradio.com. Now, we were just giving away 2 tickets, courtesy of Leaf Express, the website to buy tickets for yourself if you want to go. And it's very reasonable. I think it's like just under $500. Now, remember, you're getting accommodation, 2 nights, tickets to the game, post-game party, transportation. You get to see the Big Apple. You know, there's a Big Apple out there on the way they stop.
Oh, that's right, that Big Apple.
They stop at the Big Apple. So we were giving away 2 pairs, courtesy of Leaf Express, and go to toursport.com to buy yours. But wait, just minutes ago, I don't know if you were listening during the break on Twitch, but one of our main sponsors, partners, friends of this show, a man that has been doing more for others than you have is continue to do more. Can we make the announcement, Mr. Nibsy?
Sure.
Well, go ahead.
We'll put it on.
Put your thing. Get you ready.
And I just want to say,
hold on.
When I got my mic on, I used to get my skates sharpened Fred by Jimmy Poplinski's dad, the captain of the Flames, when they won the
out in
Cup
Calgary.
there. Yeah, they were our neighbor in Ottawa growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pepper's dad knew how to do the skates quite well there too.
Uh-huh.
So I've just been hearing all the entries and all over the past days, and lots of deserving people, and Humble and Fred show has of course been very good to me, and so I just thought, what the heck, let's throw another pair in up for grabs.
Here's the thing. The Retirement Sherpa. Just now, we called Mario at Tour Sport. We've got another couple of seats on the bus, courtesy of the Retirement Sherpa, everyone.
Woo!
That's right, Phil. The Retirement Sherpa.
So we're giving away 2 pair.
We're giving away 2 pair now.
The Sherps is, you know what? He's dipping into his own portfolio to finance this. And how grateful are we?
Absolutely. And seriously, he's a good man, and he's buying tickets for you. It doesn't. But listen, you're not going with the Sherpa. It's not that.
No, that'd be extra.
That's extra.
That would be extra.
So there you have it.
What a sweet, sweet gesture.
Yeah, so keep your entries coming. Now we have 2 pairs of tickets for the Leafs in Montreal, courtesy of Leaf Express and the Retirement Sherpa. Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you.
My pleasure. That's the way the world works, right? Everybody wins, and we're all family, like my pal Ellen there, so yeah.
Be kind to others.
Even if they like freezies, they can still win.
The Sherpa, freezies are good. The Sherpa is taking you to Montreal. If you need more details, it says all the pricing is, it's funny, on this page I don't have the pricing, but I'm pretty sure it's around $500, right?
Yep.
You can give them a call, 416-457-5717. Thanks, Sherpa.
My pleasure.
There he goes.
Timmy, you're a good man.
Sherpa. He's a good man. Oh, man. Yeah, I found some new freezies, because, of course, I've got, stomach issues. So now I found this stuff. It's organic. I don't know what the name of them. There's something called Pops, but they're little...
Grass Pops?
Fruit juice, frozen fruit juice on a stick, basically. So I like those now.
And they're organic?
Yeah, they're made with.
What's organic?
Well, they're not. There's no very low sugar, all organic juices.
No artificial colors.
No artificial coloring.
So the fruit that the juice comes from were grown organically.
I don't have any idea.
I'd want proof.
Okay.
You need a certificate for that, right?
Let me run up and get it for you.
It came from my farm.
No, I want to see the certificate.
Go into investigate that for me.
Mrs. Granny Smith.
According to the highlights in the news, there's a second whistleblower and a third. Is that yesterday's?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
That's yesterday's highlights in the news?
Yeah, apparently
I didn't read that.
They came out and announced that it was it's a secondary source. It's not a primary someone that had a direct contact with this phone call, but it was someone that was listening in on that person. And I don't know what the actual they have 3 people now that are willing to testify in front of Congress.
Well,
so.
Trump is now saying it doesn't matter. He's not going to allow it to go through. He's going to somehow kibosh the impeachment investigation.
Well, I saw on the news last night, and all these lawyers scratching their head going, this letter that Trump's counsel sent to Congress saying that we're not going to cooperate. Like, there's no sense to it. He can't even do that. Like, it's beyond his power to do that. And it's like, not only does he not understand the job, the people around him don't seem to understand it.
I liked how Stephen Colbert put it, and it was kind of, well, you can get arrested for, assault, but you can't go to court and be like, well, do you plead guilty or not guilty? Pass.
Oh, I pass on the question. I just pass.
Just pass.
I'm passing on that.
Yeah, it really is bizarre.
Hey, we should can we post the details of the Leaf contest on Facebook today after the show so everyone can see it, including Tim's kind addition. We're giving away 2 pairs now. I think that's important that people have a chance to not only click through to do it themselves, but can also see that Tim's donating a pair.
Of course.
Okay, let's get that up there.
Yeah, it's there was a couple of polls yesterday too. One as high as 58% now of the country apparently supports moving forward with the impeachment hearings, which is pretty significant.
And I also read that, and I didn't think this was going to affect it, but if he is impeached, this may derail the second term.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he's not convicted in the Senate, just having him officially have been censured or whatever will maybe be a detriment to him getting a second term.
And they have him just last week saying, hey, they said, are you going to cooperate? I always cooperate. Look at the way I've cooperated all the way along. Yes, I am going to cooperate. And then yesterday they get a letter from his counsel saying he will not cooperate.
No, that's right. He's saying, no, we're not going to be part of this.
It's a coup. He's quite the man.
Our prime minister, who is trying to get reelected, is a couple of weeks away. He's going all over the place. And recently was on, I found the original source of this, and it's an ET Canada, I guess, do you know who she is? Anyone named Jessie Cruikshanks has something called a Facebook Watch series. I don't know what that is. Can we get Phil? Phil, do you know what it is?
Sure, yeah. So you know how people go on Facebook Live to watch live video. So Facebook
Which they
now
do. By the way, our Twitch show is also broadcast on Facebook.
So now people are posting videos on Facebook like YouTube. They have series of videos that you can watch, and I believe that's
okay. So
ET
Facebook
Canada's
Watch is like a YouTube type of thing.
Yep.
So Jessie Cruikshank says that in a first look at season 2 premiere episode of Jessie Cruikshank's Facebook Watch series, New Mom Who Dis, that's what it's called. Prime Minister Trudeau answers some hard-hitting questions from kids. Now listen to this.
A full team. I also brought backup. Come in.
Now, hold on a second. This is not the one. Of course, I had it ready, and I'll play it from here. Here we go.
And Solara, do you want to stand up and ask a question?
By the way, the two kids asking the question are both children of color, which makes this, you go find the video, because it really is, as somebody described, it's like a scene from The Office, but in real life. Because you're going to see what we mean in a second at the end of this clip.
And Solara, do you want to stand up and ask a question?
Why did you paint your face brown?
Ooh, it was something I shouldn't have done because it hurt people. It's not something that you should do, and that is something that I learned. I didn't know it back then, but I know it now, and I'm sorry I hurt people.
But did you paint your nose and your hands brown?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was the wrong thing to do.
That's the thing, and the big pause. Yeah, yeah.
Good answer.
Great question, though. Great. Did you paint your nose and your hands brown too? Yeah.
Listen,
yeah, I did.
I'm telling you, unless those kids are like super brilliant, they probably not on top of that issue. Some adult prompted them to ask that question.
liberal.
I bet he had no idea that was coming.
Wow.
And Solara, do you want to stand up and ask a question?
You know what, Fred? You know he didn't have any idea by the way he reacted.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Like, what is that? Listen to
Question?
it.
Why did you paint your face brown?
Ooh. That's when somebody asks you a question that's so not only difficult but awkward. Ooh, yeah, that thing.
Can we turn off that Facebook thing, please?
That's right. You imagine? See, that's why you and I couldn't be prime minister, because we just go, shut it down.
Or we'd be saying, ooh, a lot.
Ooh. Why did you make that remark about farting? Ooh.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It was something I shouldn't have done because it hurt people. It's not something that you should do, and that is something that I learned.
It's not something you should do, and that is something that I learned. My question is, did you not know? How did you not know between then and now that you mean you just learned it recently?
Yeah, he
It's
did.
not something you should do?
When was that recorded? Yesterday?
Like, this is recent.
Oh, it has to be, because that's going to get a lot of play today.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, I had the original video. You can find it on her site, but this is from a tweet that we saw. What's that, bud? It's from yesterday. Yeah.
But did you paint your nose and your hands brown?
Did you paint your nose and your hands brown? Yeah, I did. I did. But the awkward is, the best part is the pause after that question.
Hands, Beth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You should have said, and my legs too.
And it was the wrong thing to do.
All right, there you
To
have
be
it.
fair now, Shearer should go on and they should get the kids say, is it true you said you were an insurance broker?
That's
is
right.
Is it true?
Did you pretend? Excuse me. Did you pretend you were an insurance broker?
Ooh.
And then he explains, I did it. I didn't know it was the wrong thing. Did you have an office and a portfolio? Yes, I did. I shouldn't have. I didn't know it was wrong to be an insurance broker.
Oh, that's priceless.
Somebody
man.
should do that. If we had more energy, we should do a parody of that with Phil and Sean as the two kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
And you playing Sheer.
Oh.
Ooh.
I'll tell you, after that, there was a meeting of his people, and they said, how did that happen?
Yeah.
How did that happen? Because these are people, he has people who are supposed to protect him from that.
Sure.
Well, the host of this show, I don't know her, but I watched a little bit of the video. She's a funny woman, very smart. You could see she knows what she's doing. He knew what kind of show it was. It's sort of a light, funny show.
Right.
And so he knew going in, I think that there was going to be, because I watched some of the other video, that there were some cute questions being asked. She's funny, right? Asked him about how many people come, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he expected that.
No, he probably did that thinking, this will be great. It'll show Justin being fun with the kids and being a fatherly type guy and having some, showing another side of the PM. And then this happened.
Well, and he's got the standard sort of casual blue dress shirt, open collar vibe, and he's wearing black pants, slacks, trousers. But he's also got about 4 or 5 inches of his socks showing. And they're like cool socks, they're like striped. They're kind of groovy hipster socks showing that he's a young man out in the world.
But I saw this yesterday. Did you know of the 3 main candidates? He's the oldest. Andrew Scheer is only 40 years old.
Wow.
He acts like he's 65. No, he does.
Well, being conservative ages you.
No, I know.
Look at us.
Seriously. He's in Jagmeet, or Mutt, or whatever. What was it?
Yeah, Jagmeet Singh.
Is younger than Trudeau as well.
Speaking of Jagmeet, there was a picture that surfaced yesterday of him without his turban on. And listen, I think he looks pretty cool with the turban on. But there's this shot of him with all this hair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you, he looks a little bit like Indian Eddie Vedder. Like, I'm serious. It's a cool shot of him.
Good-looking man.
Good-looking guy.
Yeah.
And the hair he has underneath that is very big. It's that thick Eddie Vedder. We know what I'm talking about. That stuff.
Imagine dealing with that every day.
Oh my gosh.
Washing that and drying it, but another story I laughed at yesterday. They said yesterday it was amazing. Yesterday at Ryerson University, Jagmeet shows up and you know what? All the students went wild for this guy. They just thought he was the greatest. That might have something to do that it was a university. I mean, that's right. That's the sweet spot, obviously, for
in downtown Toronto.
For the NDP. I mean, I don't think they take Scheer anywhere near that place.
I wish. Can we get this on a loop though? Can I just get this noise?
Ooh.
Can we just get?
I'll do that.
Ooh. Ooh. Because I'm going to play that whenever anyone says anything now. Ooh.
The following
All right.
episode. Ooh.
Part of me actually feels bad for the guy because that is a major blindside, man. Wow.
But the guy that I got it off, Matt Walsh, I give him credit, because he's the one who said it's like a scene from The Office, and it's true. It's got that Office vibe where it's like, it's so awkward.
What just
You
happened?
can't look away. Let's talk a little bit about our friends at the Chamber Plan, if you can. And then we'll wrap things up. Sean, do you have something? Because we're going to get to you in a second as soon as Fred's done, because I got to get out of here.
Chamberplan.ca, Canada's #1 plan for employee benefits for small companies, say 1 to 100 employees. It really is fantastic. 30,000 Canadian businesses have gotten together over the past 40 years to create this stable plan. It's very simple to sign up. As I said, very stable because of the numbers, and it's the smart thing to do for your employees. There's no doubt about it. Imagine that, calling them all in and saying, hey, now we're looking after you. got nothing to worry about. Chamberaplan.ca. Go there and get a free quote today.
Have we spoken about? Did we talk about you getting Nexus? Maybe we can talk a little bit about that tomorrow. How you've hired Phil, which I love, to get you a Nexus card.
Done. All done.
Seriously, okay, we'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You've sent the application in, and then he's going to have his interview, and then I promise you, you'll look back at that conversation we've had, and you'll say, you know what, Howie, it was the greatest thing I ever did, because you just will waltz through. Are you Nexus? Yeah, of course.
I wonder why more people don't do it.
Because it's a hassle. Well, it's a bit of a hassle.
Why is it a hassle? It wasn't a hassle for me.
Of course, because you. That's right. You hired Phil. Yeah, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's so good. You can even use it in Europe sometimes. It helps you, even traveling just within Canada. It's fantastic.
How in Europe?
There's Global Entry is kind of affiliated with it, so that helps you smooth the wheels for that, too.
So we were wheels down, as we say in flying. We were wheels down at Pearson on Sunday afternoon at 4:15. And because we're not checking any bags, Rachel and I got off the plane, Nexified ourselves through the line, didn't have to go to, weren't waiting any bags. So 4:15 we landed. I was here at my place before 5 o'clock. Like, you just will walk out of there. Even on the way in, as we were saying the other day, and it really just does it, because you're already, and even on my ticket, yours says TSA pre-approved. It's got the check mark, right?
Yeah, it helps you with the check-in even, too, going through security.
It definitely helps you with that.
How?
Because you go to a separate place. You get your own place. So
where you take your shoes off and everything.
Yeah.
Get your own thing.
Hold on.
Oh, no, I know. Okay. Yeah, I forgot.
Nexus.
Yeah, with Nexus, you keep your shoes on.
A lot of them now, you keep your shoes on.
No, but it's not just the fact that you go through immigration quicker. You go through, it's a separate security.
Priority security.
Well, this is crazy. Why aren't more people doing this?
That's a great question.
Okay, maybe we shouldn't talk about it.
Fantastic. That's right. Keep that secret, would you, Fred?
Keep it. It's like the 407. Stay off it, please. Thank you.
Captain Sean, or Sergeant Sean, there's a couple of things Sean wanted to get to. If I had my druthers, Sean, I would say...
We didn't talk about one of these that I've been holding off for a couple days.
The cow?
No.
Or Channing Tatum's scrotum? All right,
yes.
Let's do that. All right, and we're going to need an extra minute or two for our podcast extra. Thanks to Tim Niblett for his gracious donation to the Leaf Contest. Don't forget to send us your entries, humbleandfred at humbleandfredradio.com. We're going to do Sean for the podcast extra because there's two stories. One is Channing Tatum's scrotum, and the other one is this thing that's happening to cows. I find that bizarre. Let's talk about that. All right.
Science.
Thanks to Tim. Thanks to Dan. Dan will be back tomorrow. Is there anything else we're missing here? Humble and Fred at humbleandfredradio.com. Jeremy Miller is an author and in tomorrow. Not sure what that's all about. But I know it'll be riveting.
I bet.
Okay.
How could it not be?
I'm sorry, Phil, what?
He probably has Nexus.
No, it really is something. I was like you at first. I was like, what do I need this for? And then once you go through
and
a few
it doesn't
times,
cost that much either.
Yeah, it just lets the government know you better.
Was it 50 for me and Elise or 50 each?
50 each, so 50 US for 5 years.
Ooh.
That's not bad.
Ooh.
Ooh.
What? Oh, man.
I mean, $10 a year, not bad, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, everyone. Phil, do your thing.
This episode of Humble and Fred Radio is brought to you by FYI Music News, The Retirement Sherpa, Gig Sky, The Chambers Plan, Strain Print, Freedom Construction, Ringside MD, Clear Air Solutions, 5 Hour Energy, and our newest sponsor, CDN Technologies. We broadcast to the world from the worldwide headquarters of the Humble and Fred Show. More Humble and Fred tomorrow and online at humbleandfredradio.com.
Sean, what's this C. Wright talking about? We just finished the Moose Jaw Warriors Machine. What is that in reference to?
I have no idea.
Maybe? C_C... Crite. C_Crite.
Yeah, we're so Canadian, we even used authentic Saskatchewan sealskin bindings when we packed it for shipping.
I don't know what that's what he's talking about.
Skates, is it? Or is it lacrosse?
Oh, you got your microphone.
I don't
okay.
know. We'll see.
So Sean's got one story. First one's about Channing Tatum's scrotum, a painting of it.
Yeah, so there's a painter out in L.A. that sells his paintings just on eBay and posts his stuff on Instagram for just to promote it and show the world what it looks like before he sells it. And so he had this picture on his Instagram account. What was it? The guy's name? The painter's name is Chris Mann, M-A-N-N.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it's an oil on wood painting of the 39-year-old Channing Tatum wearing a gray T-shirt, and that's about it.
There's his nutsack.
His right leg is propped up, and
Is
his
that going to become a
scrotum-
thing? Like, you know, like for a while there was this thing about side boobs. Like side boob was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden you start seeing side boob everywhere.
Do you think those nuts were added later?
It's amazing.
I don't know.
Though.
Huh? Oh, it's great.
It's hilarious because
What
it went up
interesting.
to. It got sold for over $6,000 on eBay. It started as a $100 joke that he just. Oh, I painted this. It's kind of funny.
Should do that with Bernie Sanders or Joe Biden. Have their nuts hanging out their pant leg.
That's right.
Wearing a pair of long shorts.
Oh, that's his primaries.
Well, there was battles.
Oh,
about
you were
this.
saying Bernie Sanders is done. He had a heart attack?
Well, he had a heart attack. He's not out of the race, but I think that psychologically, in the eyes of the voter, will take him out.
He already looks like he's 90. Okay, so Sean, it's sold for $6,000.
Sold for at $6,600.
Nice.
Was the final bid, and it's just a oil on wood painting of Channing Tatum lifting his leg up.
There's not enough wrinkles in that sack, though.
I don't know.
Even a young man
See,
like
I
that
didn't-
has more wrinkles than that. Come on.
I didn't see Magic Mike, so I don't know what he looks like, even with probably seen him with his shirt off in another movie, but I don't think about
Anyway,
Channing
there's his
Tatum now.
nutsack for all to see.
Very flattering.
Just do what I did. I just Googled Channing Tatum scrotum painting. That's what it's come to. This is what I'm doing now.
So not pictures of his actual scrotum, but add the
It's
word
a painting.
Yeah, make
It's
sure
an artist's rendition.
Make sure you have the word painting in it. That's what.
Now,
we're
do yours
looking
look like Sumai
Siumai?
or Hargao? What's the one that's the shrimp dumpling?
Hakao is
Is that the shrimp?
dumpling? Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I imagine yours look like.
And
Two
sometimes
little
it gets-
Hargaos.
Yeah, it's not even shrimp anymore. It becomes prawns sometimes.
Ooh,
it's
does it?
bigger. So
There's some weird shit going on with cows. This story is scary because it's one of those things. Maybe it's fake news. I don't know, Sean.
But
it scared me.
Yeah, it's just a bizarre story. Let me bring it up. in
It's
front
a
of
bizarre
myself here,
story
'cause
about
there's a lot of.
now an average bull weighs between 15 or 18 to almost 2,000 pound animal. They found 5 of these bulls in cowboy country. Where is this? In Oregon?
Yeah, in Oregon, and
the headline is "Cattle Mysteriously Mutilated, Not One Drop of Blood Found on a 2,000 pound carcass."
Jeez.
So I found this story on NPR in the States. So I know it's sometimes they just have very elegantly placed and spoken stories, but I don't know about. I think this is as true as far as I can see, but let me explain what happened. Yeah,
Please do that
if I can.
in your way.
I'm going to do my best here, but
Okay, go ahead.
I just lost where I was talking about and trying to ramble. Of course, typical Sean.
Yeah, but Phil was married in Hong Kong. You know that.
I was
Hong Kong.
Every story has to end with a little tidbit from Phil's life. For
Yes.
instance, Oregon. One of his cousins once went through Oregon on a bus trip on their way to Shanghai.
Yes, so this is what it was. It was 5 young purebred bulls that they couldn't understand how they had drained blood and body parts had been precisely removed from these cows.
Precisely.
And the farmer kept coming up on these cows and couldn't explain why something like
Now, what's the first
his
thing I said?
genitals and his tongue were missing.
Yeah, what did I
and-
say to you? The first thing I said aliens.
Yeah,
and in the story, people are literally they're theorizing, they're leaning toward the aliens because the story is that aliens will take an animal up into the ship, dissect it, take out its whatever, drain it of blood, and then just drop it down. And so what they've said to the sheriff is, look under the carcasses. Is there like a depression where they've been dropped from, the alien ship? That part I don't know. But how do you drain the blood out of a 2,000-pound animal, leave it there with no signs of anything other than their tongues and genitals being cut out?
Well, in typical FBI, they won't confirm if they're looking into slaughters in other places. So Oregon, the farmers have asked.
Would these be the same aliens, Howard, that took down Building 7, do you think?
Those aliens? Exactly the same ones. Just watch that video.
Okay, I will.
You watch it,
You went to New York on the weekend, and we're back on the 9/11 conspiracy.
I'm always on it.
Which I'm not. Which I totally agree with. Well, I don't want to leave the impression I think you're crazy.
I am crazy.
There was
you're
a Tower
not.
6.
But I'm going to tell you, I sent you a video. When you watch it, you may not even come in the next day. It'll change everything. It'll change your worldview.
Really?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
You,
I want to come in, though.
Yeah, come in and we'll talk about it. Can I come in on Friday with you and Boone and just talk about nothing but 9/11 conspiracies? Because Boone doesn't believe it.
No.
Boone is the anti. He's like, popular mechanics debunked all the blah, blah, blah. It's not true. Go and check it out. All you have to start with is this. Architects and engineers for 9/11 truth. Just go look it up. Just look it up. Don't take my word for it. And yes, those are the same people that fuck the eyeballs out of cows. Or whatever they do. Whatever they do.
Yeah. Those guys.
Sean, great job.
That was great.
Well, did my best today, but I don't know.
That wasn't your
I don't know about the story. Production job was doing a little better today.
Yeah, you
Twitch
did great.
was fun.
Twitch was great. You're great.
I hope everyone's enjoying Twitch too, because we're trying to change things up, and there's going to be new layouts coming, so you can actually be permanently chatting.
Listen, we enjoy it. Don't get us wrong.
crazy.
We love Twitch. We're just not sure we have Twitch budget. We do. We love everything about it.
We do now.
We missed an opportunity.
I'm trying to avoid these new ads because people were commenting in the Twitch chat today that it's kind of really loud out of nowhere.
Oh, is it? I don't know.
And I didn't know that because we can't see it.
We
so
can't fix
apologies, guys. I'm not going to play those ads anymore. And
we missed an
you're not supposed to get ads anyway.
We missed an opportunity yesterday where we were going to get you to dissect, break down, analyze the debate, and we didn't end up doing that. The leaders' debate, remember? But it's okay.
Did we not talk about it at all? We
You guys talked
about it
Just a little bit.
I
wanted him. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Well, you can do it tomorrow. All right.
Oh, great.
Do it Friday.
Yeah, do it on your show.
Well, I will.
On the crack of Sean.
And please show up when Boone's here. Please, that'd be awesome.
Who, me?
Yeah, come downstairs.
I might be around.
It's only
depends on,
downstairs.
listen, I'm not even sure if I'm making it day to day anymore with my stomach. Okay? Friday's a long way.
Wait, we're supposed to be at Boone's next week. What possibly?
Next week? No,
Yeah.
it's a couple weeks.
What could he possibly ask us now?
I don't know,
Seriously.
man. I got nothing left to say.
Either
Here's what we'll do.
What are we supposed to give him? What we've been doing the last year or something?
Sure. You know what we'll do? We'll take. I think we should get Phil to edit all the appearances of our previous appearances on Boone, and just send it to him.
Yeah.
And then intersperse it with ooh along the way.
All right, everyone. Have a great day in the fall, the summer, fall, whatever season this is, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Little up the road from the habitations of the towns we know. A place we saw the lights turn low. The jigsaw jazz and the get fresh flow. Pulling out jobs and jamboree handouts. 2 turntables and a microphone. Bottles and cans, or just clap your hands, or just clap your hands.